Here we go. Live, live, live. All right. As we are waiting for people to collect, going to write the topic here on Instagram. Okay. Uh, Graduate of Single U Academy speaks on, what up, everybody? Speaks on how I helped her. I think I spelled everything right. Let me do this. What's up? What's up? What's up? Okay, so on Instagram, can you hear me? On Facebook, can you hear me? Y'all know I always have to ask that question. Hey. Yeah, that is Nikita. What up, girl? Hello, beautiful Sunny. Okay. So I'm just making sure everything is set up. Set up over here. Set up on Instagram. Okay, so today I'm really excited because I want to do this more, but I treat my clients as if I am a therapist. And although I don't have my psychology degree yet, when you're a therapist, a psychologist, whatever, when you have clients, you don't really put them on Front Street. Like, you're not going to be like, so my client, da 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 da, was going through this, and this is how I helped her. And I really respect my clients in that way. And although they do give me testimonials and I will post them as far as like in words, but I don't use their pictures, and then I'll change their name if they want me to, or I'll use their real name and just not their last name. Because again, I respect their privacy. And it really is a decision that I made in 2018 when I got my first client. And it's been a good decision for me. And plus, it keeps me in the practice of doing that, because eventually, when I say I don't have my psychology degree, it is yet. There's a yet there because it's coming. Okay. And so I just wanted to be in that practice of not putting people's businesses out there. It's not like I'm a business coach where I can say, hey, one of my clients made six figures because of me. Being on this single journey, being on this dating journey, healing after you've been emotionally abused, physically abused, is a personal journey. And I don't want any of my clients to feel embarrassed by me just putting them out there. So they know that going in. We sign contracts and say, listen, this is all private and blah, blah, blah. But I just had a graduating class of spring 2021. I always kind of name my groups of clients as far as where the quarter is and stuff. So spring of 2021, I had a group of clients, and I asked them, is there any one of you who would like to go on my podcast to talk about the journey you had with me inside of Single U Academy and me being your coach? What up, Facebook? I see you. What up, Instagram? I see you as well. What up, Jason? So if you are watching this video, especially on Facebook, I don't know if you can do it on Instagram, but on Facebook, could you share this video, because this is going to be an informational episode as far as what is Single U Academy like through the lens of an actual client of mine. Okay, so my name is Rika, as you know. Hi. Okay, I'm a certified NLP life coach. So to be nerdy, it's neuro linguistic programming. I get all up in your mind, and we're going to change that programming. So I have that certification as well as other certifications. I have deemed myself the Single Girls Life Coach. I'm the founder of Single U Academy and the host of Single U, the podcast. This is what this is right now. This is the podcast live. And of course, we're recording. And so welcome. If you're here, I assume that you are the woman who needs to hear that singleness is not a punishment, and that you are worthy regardless of your relationship status. That is a message that God put on my heart to give to you after I got out of my emotionally abusive relationship. I was in that for 2 years between 2015 and 2017. I lost my damn mind. And then I realized there was a hole about self-actualization, self-improvement, and knowing who you are and discovering your worth before you actually even get serious with the man. Okay. And so that's what I do on this platform. And so without further ado, I say all of that. I keep my clients private and whatnot to say, when I asked my spring graduating class of 2021, is there anybody who wants to come on? One of my clients, today we're going to call her Z, said yes. And I was so happy. I was like, you have no idea how much this is going to help me, getting the message out there about what I do. Because I can only tell you so much. But today I actually have physical, tangible proof. And so I'm going to welcome Z to the platform.
Hello.
Hey, Z.
Hello. Hello, everybody out there. Hello.
So By the way, on Instagram, I'm gonna flip the camera one time, but I'm not gonna be able to go back and forth. So if you actually want to see Z, if you want to see the conversation happening, all you have to do is go to facebook.com/single you academy and you can see her. So I'm gonna flip it one time. And as I'm flipping it, I'm gonna say thank you so much for wanting to do this, Z. And my first question to you is why? I know, like, I get it. I'm the speaker. I'm the one on the radio. I'm the one on
That's fair.
stage. I'm a coach. Yeah. And so for me, I just think it's easy, but I respect people when they're like, wow, I'm a little shy or I don't, you know.
Yeah.
So, why? Why did you decide to do this? Which thank you again. I've said that so many times. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think there was a part of me that was actually secretly hoping I could be a part of the podcast or something like that because I really care about women's empowerment. Like that's a huge part of me just as a person and I've always been about it. So I felt like Single You was this whole experience of some really dope women having shared experiences of, not the relationships that we wanted, but really supporting each other. And so yeah, why not put other women on to game and like, be a part of this experience and share it in an honest way.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, I have coached some dynamic women. I attract some dynamic women and I love it. And now you're like in the group of women that I can say I know. And so let's talk about that because I don't know you. I didn't
Yeah,
know you 12 weeks ago. So Single You Academy is a 12-week program. And I didn't know you 12
yeah,
weeks ago. I didn't, well, I think now what I've known you now for maybe 14, 15 weeks.
something like
And so, yeah, you don't even live in Washington State.
right.
We don't know each other, but somehow
Right.
you found me.
Yes.
And I know that my prayer is always, God, you put this on my heart. You told me you would use my story. And I believe this is the way that he wants me to use my story in helping. And I do pray for you guys. I'm like, all right, God, I know that my assignments are out there. I'm not going to help every woman. I'm not going to be able to do that. But I know
Right.
that I have assignments. So have them hear my voice, have them find me and seek me and message me. And so somehow you found me. How'd you find me?
Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, I listened to the Hot Happy Mess podcast
Okay.
with
Shout out to
Zuri
Zuri
Hall.
Hall. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't even know if I had shared this with you or not, but basically, I came across an episode that I just was like, let me scroll through, see something that resonates with me, right? And I think there was one on like toxic relationships or something like that. And so you were on the podcast sharing your story and like, you talked about an abusive ex and just how you had had enough. And I was like, that's interesting because me too. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like this woman sounds like she knows what she's talking about. Maybe it's time for me to like finally admit I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And, like maybe I don't have all the answers. I've been trying my best, but let me see what she's talking about. So then it was like a rabbit hole of not even a rabbit hole. It was from the podcast to actually looking you up on Instagram because you provided your handle there. And then you were trying to talk to different women about our experiences. We went back and forth in the DMs and the rest is, history. So
As they say.
yeah.
Right. Yeah, yeah. And when you say like, maybe I don't know what the hell I'm doing in this specific lane of being single and dating, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the lane that I'm in. So I'm going to
Yeah.
ask you, as I've asked everybody on my podcast, because I'm always like, I'm trying to prove a point, trying to prove a point. So had anybody before, I was your coach, had a conversation with you about what makes a healthy relationship versus an unhealthy relationship?
No, that's not even like vocabulary my family has. And so like when you were again sharing that experience, I was like, check, check, yep. Like
Yeah.
I can completely relate to this. Like
Yep.
my family's very action oriented, like, acts of service kind of
Yeah.
thing on top of people have been through struggles. So it's just like nobody's talking about, yeah, be healthy, self-care, like
Yeah.
no, it's just like figure it out, work it out. And
Yeah.
I felt like I was doing the best that I could. I connected with somebody in college who was my college sweetheart. I felt like things made sense on paper and I loved the person. I cared about them, vice versa. We ended up getting married mid 20s and I was divorced by the time I was 30. So
Mm.
there's that.
Yeah. And we'll definitely unpack some of that because I have heard some of that story. But before we get to that, um, when you're listening to me again, shout out to Zuri Hall. I've known her since I was like 26, I just turned 38 June 29th. I know I don't look it. Okay.
Hey.
Shout out to Cancer season.
Cancer season.
Right, exactly. But I think it's Leo season now. Anyway, but when you heard me speaking, had you ever heard of a life coach? Um, or maybe if you had it been a life coach in this particular lane?
No, but I'm going to be very specific. So I had heard of, and I had, taken advantage of therapy
Yep.
before. I had, through movies and shows, I know about life coaches and things like
Yep.
that. But even for the most part, when it comes to those kinds of coaches, it's for people who don't look like me or
Mhm.
not black, right? So,
Okay, meaning
um,
black, we can say that.
correct,
Right.
just to be
Yep.
specific.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, like we're in the same age group. All right. Like,
Yeah.
you're speaking my language. Let me see what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me get a life coach, get a dating coach / single coach.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so that, yeah, because that I feel like that's the thing that I'm pushing up against a lot. I think 10 years from now, people will finally understand what the one percenters do. Because
Yeah.
rumor has it,
Exactly.
yeah, rumor has it that Oprah has two life coaches. One's a financial
Wow.
coach, and then Deepak Chopra, like that's her freaking meditating
It's the
god.
guru.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah.
guru. So she works with him a lot. And so I think
Wow.
we unfortunately do ourselves a disservice, especially because listen, nobody taught us this. So it's not to throw any of us under the bus, but
Right.
we weren't taught this space, right? And so we do ourselves a disservice by not actually seeking mentorship, coaches, help, guidance along the way. And I've
Right.
told you, and we'll talk about this at the end, like, even when you're done with me, even when Single You Academy, the 12-week program is over, if you choose to get another coach, it may be great. Maybe it's in a different space. And
Right.
I know that you've had therapy before, and we'll talk about the difference between therapy and coaching coming up. But first, let's get to a little bit of this relationship.
Yeah.
So you get to college
Yeah.
and you meet this guy
Yes.
and it doesn't work out.
Correct.
Get into, I guess let's talk about the beginning stages. Why did you fall for him? Why did you want this relationship? And then were there red flags that you passed up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's get to the beginning when all the
The
butterflies
happy
and the
times. The
vagina,
happy
right?
times.
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay.
This is how it happens. Our vagina
This
be
is
like, "Hello."
this is how it goes. I was extremely far from home, all the way across the country. I met someone who was very taken by me and whom a lot of people respected and just looked up to, even including like faculty and staff. So I was very kind of impressed by this person, and got into a relationship super quick. There, even looking back at it now, there were many red flags even early on that just
Mhm.
accumulated over the years, because that is how that tends to go. um but again, I didn't have no conversations about, is this healthy, is this right for you, like,
Yeah,
are
yeah.
you, repressing any feel, or like, I don't know, like I wasn't being asked, has this person done anything to you to make you feel bad about yourself, or is there something
Mm,
that's bothering you, or do you feel watered by this relationship? Are you flourishing? Are you just giving, 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 which is what I
yeah.
was doing. And so, whew, I mean, we could go so many different ways with
Right.
this.
So
But
right. So let's okay. So let's stick in the he was people liked him. You liked him.
yeah,
Obviously,
yeah,
your flirt. You guys are the emotions are there, right?
emotions were there.
And right, and especially in the beginning, especially because again, this is why I ask everybody. Had anybody have had a conversation with you about what makes a healthy relationship versus unhealthy? Because if
Right.
that conversation isn't there, you think that it's just about the butterflies and the feelings. So
Yeah,
we think that that is love, and then we just dive head first, right? Is that
yeah.
kind of how you felt? Like, well, this is okay. This is happening.
Yeah, I felt like, okay, well, we love each other. We, on paper, he's smart, I'm smart,
Yeah.
I'm well traveled, he's well traveled. We want to do these similar professional things. We both are saying we want the same things out of life. We've been together X amount of years. Why wouldn't we get married? And I
Mhm.
think for my family, there were a lot of people who were married, but in retrospect, not necessarily in healthy marriages. So from what I saw around me, it was like, that's just what you do, you know?
Right.
Um,
Right.
and no, there might have, and I do want to be fair because I don't, I don't know. I want to be fair to my family. I'm sure there were conversations that took place here and there
Mhm.
throughout, the 18 years leading up to me going away for school, but were they repeated and reinforcing,
Yeah.
a message of healthy versus unhealthy? No, they were not. And they didn't get that. So I don't even blame them for that.
100%. And so, because we're of the same age, and so I'm sure your parents and stuff are baby boomers like mine, and then they're coming off that generation who is just coming off of slavery. So it's like
I know.
we try to
I know.
survive. We ain't got time to be
Right.
like, girl, this is narcissism, and then they just
Exactly.
go like, and then
Exactly.
yeah, like I never heard the word narcissism until 2017 when I took a deep dive into what the hell I had just been through. Like, what was that? I literally that was my question to myself when I got out of that relationship. I was like, what was that? It's like,
Same. I
and I,
didn't know until I was in therapy. Then
yeah,
the
like
same with borderline personality disorder. I never
exactly,
heard of that in my entire
ever,
life, ever.
ever, exactly. And so it's like us, the millennial generation, and then of definitely Gen Z. I mean, look at what's happening with Simone Biles and
Yeah,
Naomi Osaka, and now we're finally like, no, my mental health is more important, and we need to talk about what's going on with me. And what is
right,
this relationship and what is that? So we didn't
right.
at the beginning of our lives get that. And no, I'm never like, I'm not angry at my parents. I'm not
Yeah,
throwing
same.
anybody under the bus. We're not throwing your parents for sure. But this is our lived experience. And
Right.
unfortunately, there wasn't true teaching like there would be in math. Like
Right.
this is
Correct,
like
correct. They
you know what
weren't
I mean?
teaching
Like
these as life skills. Yeah,
right,
no.
exactly,
No.
exactly. So okay, so obviously you're in this relationship, the feelings are happening.
Feelings are
Um,
happening.
yeah, can you explain to me like a red flag that maybe you passed up that you will
Oof.
never do again?
Easy, easy, easy.
Yeah. Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
early on in the relationship, I'll say a few months in, he actually let me know that he was visiting and staying with an ex-girlfriend who had become a close friend of his. Right, exactly, that face. Exactly, exactly, right? And so
But
I'm like,
listen, when we in
it
love, we just like, okay.
I was like, "Okay," like, I don't know. No, seriously, I felt like, I don't really like that, but I don't know him that well,
Yeah.
so I don't think I should be tripping about it. Like, we'll see what happens." And I guess the red flag was not just that, but that he went and he sent me flowers to kind of say, "Thank you for being okay with this," or "Thank you for trusting me
Mm,
about this." And he told me, I don't remember if this was over the phone or this was in person when he came back. He was like, "Yeah, she tried to push up on me and da 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 da." Exactly. He was like, "But, I wasn't having none of that." And it was just kind of the way that he was telling it. It was like,
yeah.
I feel like you kind of enjoyed getting real close to that line. Or you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was very strange to me. And then over time it was just a series of inappropriate, weird interactions with
Mhm.
other women, which turned
Mhm.
into cheating, like, and all of that fun stuff. So
So
all the red flags.
yeah, I want to sit here because I just had this topic on Single You the podcast with another guest, and we talked about how passing up your gut feelings gets us in trouble, right?
Plays you every time. Yeah.
Right, every time, and you just said like things were not feeling right, and so when we're dating these men or whoever you decide to date,
Yeah.
how does your body feel when you're talking to him, right? So would you say that you were in a constant like minimizing yourself, not sticking up for yourself, not knowing how to set boundaries? Were you
All of
always in this
yes.
space of like anxiety? Yeah,
All of the above. I didn't know how to stand up for myself in that way. Like any other aspect of my life, killing it. Like
yeah,
not an issue, right?
yeah,
But voicing like, "Hey, I'm uncomfortable with this. Hey, this isn't giving me anxiety.
yeah.
I feel uneasy about this." I didn't even have the words.
Mm,
And meanwhile, I think in terms of how it impacted my body, yeah, it's like a tightness
yep.
in your like literally in your gut.
In your gut. Yes, yes.
Um, and I
Mhm.
found like if I'm making if I'm giving like a side eye and I can feel it, or I can feel my face just being like, what the hell? Like, that means on a gut level, I have a problem. Like,
You ain't the one. Right.
yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Yeah. And hello, Marcy. If you're just tuning in, welcome. If you have any questions, comments, you want to mention something, maybe something that resonates with you as we're talking, feel free to comment. I can see your comments and I would love to read them. And so, again, if you're just tuning in, I'm talking with Z. She is from the graduating class. I just like saying that.
I
CMU
know. I love
Academy.
it. I love it.
Exactly. Spring of 2021. So her and I have worked together closely for the past a little over 12 weeks, because Single U Academy is 12 weeks, but with onboarding and offboarding, it's maybe like 14 weeks. And so we are discussing her experience with me. And we were just at the beginning of her story and kind of where she landed in dating. And unfortunately, she has been through a divorce. And
Mhm.
so that's what we're talking about now, if you're just tuning in. Okay, so the next question I want to ask you is, because a lot of people always ask me or say to us, and I'm sure you've heard this before, okay, well, why did you stay though?
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
And I may have said that before 2015. And it's coming from a seat of judgment because people assume that we should just know.
Yeah.
People think that we are baby birds, right? So when no, I'm saying, like, dead
Yeah.
ass, when a bird has the baby and the baby hatches, right?
Yeah.
That mama bird, once the bird is a few weeks old or whatever, will just push the baby out of the nest, and then it'll innately know how to fly.
Right.
People treat humans that way. Oh, you should
Yes.
just know. Like, you should just know, which is not true, especially if you're not having the conversations. So let's talk about maybe some of the reasons why you did stay. Let's answer that
Mhm.
question not in a judgmental way. This is, you don't get to
Yeah.
judge people for staying.
Yeah.
But there are reasons why we do stay. And one of them is because we didn't know. But what are maybe some of the other things that you felt in this relationship? Like, okay, well, I'm going to try to work this out, I guess. Why did you
Yeah.
stay?
Yeah, I think there's a couple reasons that previously were my kind of go-to answers. And then there's like the deeper
Yeah.
the deeper reason why.
So
So
many layers, right? We onions, we
yeah, yeah,
onions.
yeah. So I think at first it was really just like, wait, I know why I got married. Like, I believe in partnership. That's a big deal to me. I feel like I want to take that vow as seriously as possible. I'm doing my best. I feel like I'm giving it my all. I'm trying all of the things that I know to try to make this work. And I never thought I would be a woman who would stay with a man who cheat on me. Never, never
Mhm.
thought that. Um, I felt like once I was kind of late 30s and able to realize like this 100% wasn't about me because I'm
Mhm.
learning about his issues,
Right.
then that was in a way that was helpful for me to kind of sort through it.
Yeah.
Um, so there's that. But really though, like I'm rewinding it all the way because we were together for over a decade, right? So
Okay. Yeah.
I stayed ignoring various red flags over 12 years, which is like 12 years. Are you kidding me? Because I don't think I had a great view of myself in the dating world,
Mhm.
right? So I think I was a bomb ass student. I think I was a dope athlete. I think I was an amazing friend, good family member, community member, like all of that. But when it came to what you always talk about, like our actual self-worth in a relationship, I think it was horrible.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of reasons for that, but
Mhm.
I think that's why I stay because I didn't really understand my own value to myself, to the world, like all of that. And I didn't know, okay, well, how can I get a better experience?
Yeah.
I felt like, well, to me, or up to this point, like he has all these qualities I'm supposed to be looking for. So maybe this is it for me, like, oof. And I
Yeah.
think this is the first time I'm admitting this out loud like this.
Mhm.
So I
Yeah.
think I just gave
Yeah.
myself chills a little bit. I'm cringing a
Yeah.
little bit, but that's what it was.
Well, and and as I've always told you, we have to give ourselves grace for the things that we didn't know. And now that you know better, you'll do better, as Maya Angelou has always told us, right? And there's something that you said, and I was smiling, and it's not because, yes, I'm glad she went through that, but I just want to prove a point again, because this is where I was as well. you think a lot of us think we know our worth, right? Because
Right.
and this is why my clients are the professional woman, because on one hand, you have it all together. You got we graduated from college, we got the career, we're paying our bills,
Yeah.
maybe even a mortgage, we got a good friendship group, and we have this side of it together, and so we're like, I'm dope, I'm worth it,
Yeah.
INDEPE,
Right.
and we just smell like, you know what I mean, like we like, I know my worth, I know my worth.
Yes. Yes.
And you have heard me say, and I've helped you discover this, no, you don't though.
Right.
Because no, no, you don't. Because it is in your boundaries that you show yourself you love yourself. It's in the boundaries. It's in
Yeah.
the saying no. It is in listening to that gut feeling without needing tangible proof. Because some of us will stay, and maybe you did this when you before you found out he cheated. You probably stayed, and let me know if this is a true statement.
Yeah.
I bet you stayed because, like you said, well, I'm supposed to want him
Right.
because look at all his credentials and my credentials, they match.
Yeah.
So I'm supposed to stay in this relationship. And okay, maybe I have some gut feelings, but I don't have any tangible proof
Mhm.
that this is a terrible relationship.
Yeah.
True
Yeah,
statement, right?
and true. On top of other people are telling us how great our relationship is.
Mm,
So, what? Like, it's just like reinforcing
yes,
crazy mixed
yes,
messages.
yes.
Yeah.
So my mentor, as you know, is Pastor Darius Daniels, and he says all the time, like, we get ourselves in trouble because we judge our emotions. We judge them.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
why do I feel that? I shouldn't feel that. He's a good
Yeah.
person. Who does that?
Yep.
Like, we don't think that there are people out there who do want, and maybe not want to, but I'm going to use the word want to, who want to cause us harm. We think that
Right.
everybody's good. Yeah.
Listen.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Yep. What came up? What came up?
No. I just really I think I really suffered from my own sense of being naive. Like, I really felt like, well, my intentions are pure and I'm really loyal and I'm devoted. I don't flirt with other people. Like, I support his dreams. Of course he would do the same. And girl, no, he did not. No, he did
Right.
not.
Right.
We
Right.
all don't have the same
Mhm.
understandings
Nope.
of what's healthy, what's not, what's encouraging, what's not. Like, it's so wild to me. Like, I
Or what
really
loving
felt,
is, what being
yeah,
a good person is. Yeah, we measure people by our measuring stick. So my
yeah,
measuring stick is this long, and I assume Z is going to be that long too. I assume
yeah.
because I like him, his is going to be this long too.
Yeah, or because he's my boyfriend, he's my fiance, he's my husband. Those titles, they don't do this. They're
Yeah,
not abusive, they're not hurtful, they're supposed to be wonderful.
yeah,
So, I don't know, maybe my understanding of what's going on here is wrong because 'cause they're doing some other really nice things,
yeah,
but then every now and then
yeah.
they're making slick comments or, they're they're out in the streets, right? So,
Doing all the dirty
it's a
work.
lot.
And you know what? I just want to go back to real quick. So he goes to visit a friend of his, a female friend of his, a woman friend. I know a lot of people don't like the word female. Excuse me. A
Okay.
woman friend. He sends you the flowers almost as like, here's a shiny object. I don't want you to pay attention to what's really happening. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Basically, and now it's like, dang, was that like low key abusive? Like, hey, I'm gonna treat you dirty real quick, but here's some
Yeah,
flowers. It's okay.
yeah,
You're
yeah,
great. You're amazing.
yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you for trusting me while I go disrespect you.
Yep. It's it's kind of like the trauma bond. So we have
Yes,
um
exactly.
workshop inside of Single You Academy, which you went through. And I remember when after you watched that video, do you remember what you said to me?
I don't know, probably
I
something
can,
like, "Oh, I live this." I don't know.
yeah, no, I remember you telling me, I have just now realized that I actually was abused.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
because we think, oh, he's not hitting me, so this is not abuse.
Right.
Is that how you felt in that relationship? Like, well, I'm not being abused because he's not hitting me. So
Yeah, or he's not, cussing me out.
mhm.
So that's not, verbal. I feel like abuse for me meant really extreme
Yes,
behaviors when
yes,
it's like a whole spectrum.
yeah, yep,
It's a whole
yeah.
spectrum of
Because
chaos.
right, because I think our reference, especially for millennials, is Tina Turner's story. So if he's not saying
Exactly.
"eat the cake" anime, we're like, "Oh,
Right.
I'm not being abused.
Right.
Everything is fine. I don't know why
Right.
I'm having these feelings." And then you judge them and you feel bad because I should like him. He's a good man, but is he though?
Yeah. Right.
you know.
Right.
And so for the record, I just want everybody to know what Z went through was emotional abuse. There was some trauma bonding going on, and a lot of things that that came up for you as you were going through Single You Academy. So I do want to get to the happiness because we only have about maybe 30 minutes, 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So that relationship was over. You find me on Aziri
Yes.
Hall's podcast. You
Yes.
you start DMing me, and I think you even watched the Dodging Dysfunctional Relationships masterclass that I did.
I did. I did. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah. So I'm speaking your language. You're like, this woman has went through what I went through. You had
Yeah.
never heard of a coach in this lane before. So when I did the call to action of Single You Academy, the doors are open. I would like to coach you if this resonates with you, because you are my ideal client. Like this last group that I had, y'all, you guys are my favorite. I talk about you guys all the time when I'm like doing with my business coach and stuff. I'm like, I loved my last group of clients. I loved
Yay.
them
Shout out
so
to
much.
my class.
Yes, exactly. And so, what made you go, okay, I need a coach. I'm gonna sign up with her. What was it?
I think you were breaking something down, maybe in the master class, or maybe it was just the combination of listening to you on the podcast with the master class, where I was like, wait, let me sit with how much money I have spent on these
Mm,
relationships that have left me feeling depleted, drained, disrespected, bamboozled, lied to, hurt, angry, like, and it because I think you shared a story where you had spent a lot of money on a man,
so
right?
$10,000. We could say it. It's
Correct.
fine.
I wasn't gonna put it out there, but
Nah, it's already out there.
um,
We don't know. Yes.
I
Yep.
would say I didn't do all the calculations, but I have at least spent that much.
Yep.
At least, and it's probably something more dramatic, like double that, or something crazy, and
Yep.
something that would make me mad. But
Yep.
I was like, wait, 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 wait. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, I've been doing all this. I did the flights for, flying across the country for relationships. I bought them gifts. Like dating, you have to buy yourself clothes so you look right. It's
Yeah.
like a whole investment. And I'm like, wait, but I have never invested in getting some tools to get a better experience, or getting some tools just to cool the hell out and be happy on my own in my singleness alone, right?
Mm,
So I just felt like I can't take it no more. Even shorter relationships, dating wise, there were aspects of abuse there too. Or this one's a narcissist. This one, instead of being the look at me, look how great I am narcissist. This one is the woe is me narcissist. And,
yeah.
like just trying to latch on to me for their own self-image or whatever. Or this one is popping up at my place acting crazy. Or,
Mm,
it was too much. It was like, I cannot do another crazy experience, period.
period.
so
Period.
so
Period.
let me sign up for this class real quick.
Yeah. Yeah. So that, girl, you just said a whole word right there. And
It's a
that's why I
lot.
put that in there. That's in my messaging a lot. Like, think about how much debt you had and how much money you spent to be dating these guys
Yeah.
that hasn't worked out for you. How much
Right.
has that helped you transform your life?
Not
Not a penny.
not a bit. Not a
Not a penny.
bit.
Not a one. Not a
Yeah.
one. And so we'll spend all this money. And that's something I had to come to the conclusion too, especially when I was faced with signing up for a coach and all of that. And I literally asked myself, why was it so easy just to give a man my credit card out of
Right.
because I love him? It was so easy. So why isn't it easy for me to invest in myself?
Right.
And so that is where, if you are, um, uh, if this is resonating with you, you're going to have to get to a point where you are like, I am worth it.
Yeah.
Let me spend the money, because whether you do therapy, coaching, or what have you, reading books, going to retreats, yes, it is going to cost money. And let me tell you, as a business owner, obviously that's why I charge. I got to eat too.
Right.
I wish if I could, if this wasn't a capitalistic society, if I didn't have a mortgage, I would do it for free. And I do my podcast for free. And that's why, like, I'll give you some tips and I'll tell you what to do. But if you want to learn how to do it, that is where
Right.
you and I will become coach and client. And it's the intellectual property that I have now that I am allowed to charge for. And that is what I do, just kind of behind the scenes. Like, I got to eat too, boo. And I wish that I could do it for free. But I'm glad that you jumped over that hurdle. I had another one of my clients tell me the moment that I looked past my bills was the moment I was like, "Where my credit card? I'm signing up with Rika. Where is it?" Her life has changed
That's real
dramatically. She
though.
was my client over a year ago, and her life is dramatically different.
Yeah.
Even a year later, because I check in with you, and I know you and I will be meeting again in January to see where you are. I check in with my clients where they are, 6 months and a year, and all of that. So another thing that you said, and even the whole class of spring 2021, you also, because you also have to be at the point where you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do this anymore, but I also
Yeah.
don't want to be bitter, right? Like, you just did it
Yeah.
then, right?
Yeah, yeah. As an aside, my birthday was in the spring and my family got me this gift card for Reiki, which like Reiki,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yep.
And I had never really been into that and didn't know too much or whatever. But basically, you have someone who kind of scans your body for energy. We'll just say that. And
Yep.
then they talk to you about where it's not flowing right and all that. Listen, this woman told me my heart was blocked. It
Yeah.
was cold. My creativity, my compassion, everything was like wrong.
Yeah.
And I told somebody, I was like, yo, I really feel like I got an ice box where my heart used to be. Like,
Okay,
what is going
Omarion.
on?
Right.
What's
You
going
a
on?
millennial for real.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Right. For real.
this isn't even the energy I like to have, but I can feel it in
Yeah.
me. And I don't want this. I don't want to carry this bitterness. I don't want to carry resentment. Like I like being a joyful person. I like being optimistic. And even with my relationships, I feel like I even through the bad, it was like, no, good things are coming. Like I'll try again. Like I'll be tenacious. Like just let me try something different. But nothing I was doing was working. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And that's another, okay. So obviously we're going to get through what it was like to go through Single You Academy, but I'm trying to prove a point for my ideal clients. I know you're out there and I pray for you all the time. Again, if you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with a Single You graduate, spring of 2021. She just graduated. Her and I worked together for a little bit over 14 weeks inside of Single You Academy, which is my online group coaching program. And so we've already talked about you being the professional woman, having your life together, and
yeah.
then you making the decision of I need to start investing in myself. Then you making the decision of like I cannot be bitter and what I'm doing is not working.
Yeah.
So you have tried therapy,
Yes.
because a lot of my clients have as well. But why? So why were you like, you know what, therapy was great because I know that you thoroughly enjoy your therapist.
Yeah.
So why did you feel like you also needed a coach? And then how are her and I different? Well, I don't know if your therapist is a man or a woman, but and then how is it different?
So, dang. Okay. So for me, it wasn't like either or. It was like,
Mhm.
let me just dedicate myself to investing in myself.
There you
So
go.
I
Yeah.
had worked with a couple female therapists previously, and my mindset was just like, you know what? Let me try some male energy. What are they talking about?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my therapist is actually he's a gay black male who talks to people about healthy relationships. I was like, you're my people. So
Yeah.
that was going on right at the same time or around the same time I started Single You. And what I think is different is well, what I think is amazing is
Yeah.
the boundaries and the value work. Like that was y'all were talking the same language at the same time and everything was reinforced beautifully and it was so dope to just experience like, oh yeah, Rika said that. Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, my therapist just told me to do all this stuff too. So
Yeah.
that was cool.
That is crazy. Okay, so there's two things I want to say. That's crazy because you know how like they say, the one percenters will say you are the five people you surround yourself with. So you
Right.
having that tennis match of these two people in your ear, like you are worth it. Set a
Yeah.
boundary. Say
Yep.
no. You can get
Yep.
what you want. Love yourself. Da 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 da. That is beautiful. And then also like you just proved a point in. I like how you said I was just in a space of investing in myself, right?
Yeah.
Because it's probably not going to be one thing for us to finally make this 180 transition in our
Right.
life, right? It
Right.
is a journey. And we have to get to that point where we're like, I'm going to go on this journey of bettering myself.
Yeah.
Like, what is the level up? That's what level up means. So it's like, okay, so maybe you start down here and you're like, okay, I did like that. I'm gonna take this little piece from that. And then I'm gonna get another mentor, take a little piece from that. And then I'm gonna try, like you said, Reiki, get a little piece from that. And then I'm
Right.
gonna try, you know what I mean? It's like that is exactly what I've been doing since 2017. I have literally leveled up. I've had 3 different coaches now in different areas. And so
Exactly.
you can try that as well. And I've always said, and you've heard me say this before, I am not the end all be all. I am just here for the woman who is, like we said, you have it all together, but your love life is trash. You're ready to invest in
Right.
yourself because you don't, you
Really
don't,
though.
yeah, exactly. And you don't want to be bitter and you don't know where to start. So
Yeah.
I am definitely the coach for that. So again, if you're watching on Instagram, if you want to see what Z looks like, you can log into, actually, okay, this is what I'll do. I'll flip the camera one more time. And then if you want to watch the rest of it, we are live on Facebook. And all you have to do is go to facebook.com/, Single U Academy, facebook.com/Single U Academy, and she will pop up. So we are talking about her experience before she met me, and then the experience through Single U Academy. So let's get to that. So you sign
Yeah.
up. You sign up.
Signed
Were
up.
you nervous at all? Were you like, what am I going to learn from this? Like,
Yeah, I mean, I was 1,000% skeptical. I felt like,
yeah, no, me too. Yeah,
what am I really gonna learn? I think I told you in the class, one of my best friends, I had shared with her that I was signing up for the class. I tried to get her to do it, and it just wasn't working out. But she was just like, "Oh, so they're just gonna teach you more discernment? Like what? How does that work? Shady,
yeah,
shady."
yeah,
So
yeah,
I didn't, I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I felt like between the first class and the second class, the kind of assignments you were giving us, I was like, ooh,
mhm,
like, dang, I really feel in my bones like I needed this because I haven't done this kind of self-examination
yeah,
before. And I could see how not doing it was getting me those relationship experiences.
yeah.
So I was like, let me ride this out.
So, so when I say, well, first let me say this. So you tried therapy. We all have friends, because I always
Yeah.
ask women, like, what have you tried to stop this cycle of like this dysfunctional, like trash relationship cycle that you're in? And
Yeah.
everybody, 90% of my clients will say therapy, and then 100% are like either with therapy but also friends, and they're trying to watch these gurus on Kevin Samuels or something. They're trying to get these, like, relationship tips or whatever. And
Yeah.
obviously that didn't work for you, right?
Right.
Hmm.
Right. And
Yeah.
quiet as it's kept,
They do.
therapists have different lanes. They
Yes.
have different skills and all of that. So, like, I'm not knocking my previous therapist because we didn't work on these issues or get to them or whatever.
Yeah.
We got to do some other really cool work in the process. But I just felt like where I am at in my life right now, like this is what I need. Help me have some better relationship experiences because
Yeah.
this isn't it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm still seeing the therapist that I
Yeah.
started with in the spring, but everything has just really complemented each other really nicely. Like Single U is a whole support group. I think people don't get that or don't necessarily know that going in, but like just being in kind of a class with other women and seeing that you are not the only woman on the face of this earth who has been played and disrespected and who's frustrated and who's dope. Like, so
Yeah.
just sharing our stories as we're trying to figure all this out and learn all this and process all the new information, that was incredible.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that is key, right? And I do say that Single U Academy is my online group coaching program, and it's like I don't think that women get that, because we do when you're going through this, and I'm sure you could attest to this. You're being mistreated, disrespected. You're feeling heavy. You feel like you're dragging this man along. You're minimizing yourself. You're walking on eggshells. You're not
Yeah.
feeling like yourself, and you feel like you're the only one. And
Yeah, and then it's easy just to start beating yourself up, like,
yeah,
"Dang, how could I be this dumb?" Or like, "What's wrong with me?" Like,
yeah,
all of that, which is not always the most helpful.
Yeah.
But yeah, you ain't the only one, boo. It's happened to basically all of us.
Girl,
So,
listen, again, because the conversations around what makes a healthy relationship versus unhealthy, and then we don't even understand compromise and what is healthy hard versus toxic or healthy
yeah.
hard versus dysfunctional. We have no idea. We just think, oh, the hard is he cheats on me and we have to get through it. Like, no, we don't have to do that.
Yeah.
And so, do you feel like Single You Academy answered that question for you and taught you the difference between healthy relationship versus unhealthy?
Oh, definitely. I feel like Single You helped me be in tune with my own values, my own needs and wants in a relationship. And right. So I think I also learned how to check in with myself about like, I don't know, back to a question you asked me earlier, like how I know I feel when something is wrong. Like, let me just ask myself real quick, like, do I really like this guy? Or am I giving him the side eye when he's talking? Like stuff like that. And, or is there something that maybe I could compromise on that isn't to my own detriment?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And so, what would you say to a woman who has been watching me for like maybe 3 months? She's been listening to my podcast and she wants to sign up.
I would say just do it and just do it before you can back out. That's what I had to do. I had to sign
Yeah.
sign up and just like do it in as quickly as possible with
Yeah.
no turning back. Rika does have some kind of money back guarantee or something, which I did appreciate
Mhm.
the transparency on. So there's that. Rika, also you could do payment plans. Look, I did 3 different payments
Yep. Yep.
for the whole program, and it was totally fine. And a million percent was worth it.
Yay. And so, what do you think if you can come up with one? You don't, it may be a few, but what do you think your biggest lesson inside of Single You Academy? What did you take from it as your biggest lesson? I know. That's why I'm like, I don't know if that's I'm not sure.
Okay, two. I'm gonna go with two. But the first one is that I'm an incredible woman. And even with hardships I've been through and all of that, I'm still an incredible woman who's worth and it's worth me holding out for the relationship I deserve and that is healthy instead of just entertaining whoever
Mhm.
whoever
Yeah.
can give me a few things here and there. So no, I think just within that, right? Like, no, I deserve a really great relationship and I don't have to limit myself or judge myself and say, oh, well, I can't want the guy who's fine and, who is purpose driven and who works out and this and that. Like, no, I can want that. That's okay.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
can believe that that will come because why settle and be miserable? So,
Yeah.
anyways,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's one of them. And then I think just on a super practical level, knowing that it's my job to test men and kind of like see how they respond in different
Mhm.
situations as a part of just collecting the data on them
Yep.
to
Yep.
make a decision of if I want them seriously in my
Yeah.
life or not. So
Yeah. Yeah.
those
And
boundaries, give them a
right, right,
test.
right. So, I mean, you're proving my point when I say that I help the loyal, frustrated woman learn how to set boundaries, who's tired of giving second chances, and
Yeah,
who doesn't know her worth. I help you with that, discover your worth, and I help you learn how to set and keep boundaries because
right,
you knew what you wanted, right, out of a
right.
relationship, but you didn't know how to get it before Single You, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. And so, okay, so another question, what do you think your favorite video was? I know that I've asked you this before. Um, and I title my videos in a specific way inside of Single You Academy. So what do you think your favorite video lesson was?
I always get the title wrong, but
Mhm.
there was a video you had us watch, which was you talking to your male cousin or
Anyway,
cousin
mhm.
type of figure. And he
Yep.
was just so honest about, like, okay, well, if a guy's not really trying to get to know you and ask you all these thoughtful questions and see how your mind works, he really just wants sex or money. And I said, oh,
And there it is.
There- exactly. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so the way he was just, whew,
Yeah.
telling on the games that men play to get what
Right.
they want,
Yeah.
and also empowering us as women to know that and challenge that. I think that was really, really big for me.
Yeah.
That was my favorite, but there were
Good.
a lot of good ones, a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And I know that you said this to me before, like you were so happy. Well, not happy, but you were I called you out on a lot of things, right?
Oh
Not
yeah,
like I wasn't like Z, you suck at life.
yeah,
It was just the the non-sugar coating of how we're dating, right?
oh yeah.
And that was a thread through Single You Academy. And so do you feel like that was needed and it was extremely helpful inside the program?
It was needed. I will also say to people out there, like, it's needed and it's done with love and thought and care behind it. Like, it's a whole progression of everything that you learn. So yeah, I mean, I think the recurring question that you would ask us, and I'm putting it in my own words, but it's like, okay, is this serving you well? Like, is this working for you though? Like, and then, different versions of, is this the best God has for you? Like,
Yeah.
really? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
ask
Right.
yourself that. See
Right.
what the answer is.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap this up with this. So I know I want to get into how Single You Academy has helped you date better. And then also what tools did I give you tools to continue this ongoing process of the journey that we're all on. We don't arrive at finally I'm done, I've arrived, I'll never make a mistake again. You won't make those mistakes again, hopefully.
Right.
So yeah, so the first question is um now I forgot my first question. Oh, wait, what did I just ask you, Lord?
Did I get some tools or something like
Yes.
that?
So, oh yeah, no, dating. That's what it was. Sorry. Someone
Oh,
had
yeah.
texted me and I lost my thing. So, how have you changed? Well, has Single You Academy helped you change the way that you date? And then you can give one or two examples.
Yeah, because, let me not tell too much on myself,
Right.
but, yeah, I mean, it lets me cut through the BS very quickly now because I know on a strong, like, core level, like, what I'm looking for and what I need, and if it's not that, chances are really high it's not gonna work out well for me. So, we could do the basics of, if a man is giving you all sorts of reasons about why he lives with his family right now, or doesn't have his own transportation, or like this or that, like, no, just automatically X
Right.
that out. It's fine. So that's just an example. And I think even with dating, back to the testing thing, like, really I need to see how a man will respond to me giving him a boundary,
Yeah.
right? If he acts a fool, guess what? He doesn't really respect me. So
Right.
I need to do that to honor myself and see what he's really about.
Right.
That was big.
So, I'm going to prove another point. So, when you've heard the saying, like, when people show you who they are, believe them, right? You had
Oh
heard that
yeah.
before Single You Academy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you didn't truly understand it until now, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I'm saying. Like, because a lot of people, I know that they're saying, what is Rika going to teach me? Why would I sign up with Rika? Why would I spend this money on a coach? Why? But look at your track record. You've tried your friends. You've heard all
Yep.
the things. You think you're the ish. You think you know your worth. You think. But there's a difference between thinking and actually doing, or knowing. Oh, I know that. People will say that all the time. Like when I'm like, oh, you're worthy. Well, I know. But do you though?
Right.
Because your track record is proving to me that you do
Right.
not know your worth. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so yeah, I just wanted to prove that point. Like we'll hear all these sayings, don't fall for potential or whatever.
Yep. But
And
what does that really mean though? Let's sit with that for a minute. Like, let's think about what are all the traps we fall into, because he might be a good idea. I don't know.
right,
But
yep,
if you ain't
yep,
feeling him, if you got
yeah,
all the question marks, guess what that means? You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
like him.
You don't like him, and then also you felt like you can answer this a yes or no. you felt like, well, I'm a good woman, so I can make this relationship what I want it, or or I can change him into.
Oh, yeah, I'll just model all of these things and he'll see, and which is basically code for I can change him. No, you can't. He can change if he wants to, but you can't do
It
you
ain't gonna
can't
be for
control
you.
nobody else.
It ain't gonna be
Yeah.
for you. That's why I tell women all the time,
Exactly.
like, who are you, God? The change,
Right.
leave the changing of people up to God. So now you've graduated from Single You Academy. Our coaching relationship is over. Sad.
I
We'll
know.
catch up again in January,
Our
but
reunion is coming
I know
January
exactly,
22.
exactly. Um, do you feel like I set you up with tools for you to continue this process and
Oh,
continue to stay
yeah.
on the lane of we ain't doing drama and dysfunction no more.
Correct. And that was something else that was really attractive to me about Single You. I like learning, period. So, and I learn best when there's structure. So you gave us podcasts, you gave us YouTube videos to watch, we had to read books. I didn't know that coming into it, but
Yeah,
I really liked it. And
yeah,
so like even there's additional like there's people on social media now that I know to follow or whose podcast I will listen to because it was so good in Single You, and we're creatures of habit.
yep.
So if we don't continue this work, guess what's going to happen? It could be if I relapse in a couple months, I could be back in a terrible relationship, and that's just not an option. So
Yeah,
no, you gave
exactly.
us all the resources.
Yay! I love it.
Yeah.
Marcy said, "Read the books." Marcy is also a graduate of Single U Academy.
Yay.
Yeah. So, and that's what I wanted. Again, so my certification is neuro linguistic programming, and so I knew that. And so uh creating this program, it took me a whole year, all of 2019, to like figure out what I was going to do. And so I tested a lot of videos and all of that, and kind of threw in there the things that I tried, and then took out some and this, and then it became what it is now, which is a 12-week program. And with that, Z, I want to thank you so much for this
Oh
testimonial.
no, I had to tell him. I had to let him
Yes.
know.
Yes, like this is helping me so much. It's helping other women understand that, listen, I know it's sight unseen before you join Single You Academy, but I do
Right.
have the 2-week money back guarantee. And I told y'all that, listen, if you do the first 2 assignments and you're like, I'm not gonna get anything out of this, then I'll give you your money back. But I knew that wasn't gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen though. It's not gonna happen.
Because
It
the
really
first
won't.
assignment, right? You were like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. I was like, oh, she's making us work.
Yep, yep, yep.
This is what I needed. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I love that. So again, Z, thank you so much. And before we end it, is there anything else we missed? Do you want to say anything to a woman watching who was in your shoes 16 weeks ago before you joined Single You
Whew.
Academy?
Hey sis.
Hey, girl.
No,
Hey.
no, I know you have been through it. I know you've been treated less than what you deserve, and you are so amazing, and you're so worthy of a healthy, thriving, fulfilling, nurturing relationship. And it just might be the case that you don't know, you might not know what you're doing here, and that's okay. I didn't either. And a lot of us just don't. So we're not here to beat you up. We're here to love on you and get you in this class real quick. Just
Right,
sign up and don't talk yourself out of it. Just go.
right, right. I love that. I love it. So what I'm gonna do now is just open the window now. We'll open the door. Single U Academy is open, and I only have 3 spots left for the summer 2021 group. You will be joining a few women that have already signed up for this quarter of Single U Academy, and it is time sensitive because the doors close August 1st. And when I close those doors, it's time to get to work. So if you would like to sign up for Single You Academy, if this resonated with you, if you feel like you are a frustrated, loyal woman who is sick of giving these second chances to these guys, you were at a point where like, I can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. But I also don't want to be bitter, and I want to learn how to set boundaries, only not only with myself but with men, and you want to discover your worth, then I'm the coach for you. And I know, again, it's sight unseen, but that's why I had Z on here. And so she has proven to you, to the question of, well, what can Rika teach me?
A
Well,
lot. A lot, actually. A lot. You don't even know. You don't even know the half of it.
right, right. So if you're ready to actually look at yourself in the mirror and see yourself with love, of course, there's no judgment on my part because I've
Yeah.
been there, trust me.
Yeah.
So if you're ready to do that, send me a DM now. And if you don't know what to say, you can just literally DM me boundaries. Marcy said, sign up. You got another one of your classmates on here talking about single. You taught me so much on
Hey,
Instagram.
let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. So, yeah, so all you have to do is send me the word boundaries. I'll know exactly what you're talking about. So, with that, Z, thank you so much. I want you to enjoy is it Tuesday? Yes.
I don't
Enjoy,
know.
like, what is today?
Whatever.
Whatever today is. So, anyway, enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Thank you
Yes,
so much.
ma'am.
And
Thank you all. Good
yes,
luck. Thanks,
yes.
Rika.
Yep. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.